This is some advice for those of you who have businesses that include some type of audience. If you have some kind of public persona on the internet or in your industry or what have you, this will apply to you. Now, if you have the type of business where you're selling products or you have a locally based business where you're selling services, this may not apply. This is more for people who have companies similar to one of my companies, my Black Dragon Alpha 2.0 company, where I have an audience. I have two other companies where this doesn't apply because I don't really have an audience. I have a target market, but not really an audience. So this is the way I view my audience in terms of how profitable each audience member is. Okay? And this is not specific advice. This is just more of how I view it and in terms of my objectives of where I want to move certain audience members. Okay? So it's a ring of concentric circles. I'm a beautiful artist, I know. And the smaller you get into the circles, the more profitable that audience member becomes, okay? So the circle on the far outside are people who are randoms, okay? These are people who stumble upon your blog or stumble upon your podcast or stumble upon your videos or what have you, and they read a little bit or they listen to a little bit, they go, okay, and then they leave. And they never come back. So they're kind of useless. They show up on your traffic reports and they make your traffic reports look really big, but they aren't a profit center. And they may never be. They're not compatible with your material. They're just not interested. Or maybe they're at a point in their lives where your material doesn't matter to them and maybe later they will. Whatever the case. So these are not even people you really need to pay attention to. They're just kind of icing on the cake. They're not even icing on the cake. They're like salt on the avocado. Okay. So the next concentric circle, the next one, and this is also another smaller circle. These are people who are mildly interested, okay? So these are people who, and again, I'll use the example of a blog, podcast, or videos, because those are kind of the three types of free information you would provide to your audience. I do blogs and podcasts and videos, but I start with blogs. Doesn't matter. These are people who find you and they actually do kind of read you a little bit. They actually follow you a little bit. They read some of your stuff because they find you mildly interesting. They don't agree with your stuff at all, generally speaking. They might even completely disagree with everything you say, but you're interesting and you're unusual. I certainly am. And so they come back because you're different or you're entertaining or you're interesting or they like to show their friends, hey, look at this guy who talks about open relationships. Hey, look at this guy who talks about multiple business, whatever it is, okay? Or even if they disagree with you. I have people in this zone right here who completely and totally disagree with me, but still read me and actually comment on my blog posts and things like that because I'm interesting. These people will probably never buy anything from you. They'll probably never buy it. Now maybe over time they might, but it's highly unlikely. And if they do buy something, it'll be very, very small and it won't really matter. Again, they are not a profit center. They just boost your readership numbers a little bit, okay? So the next concentric circle, I need to draw better. Jesus Christ, dude. There we go. The next circle is people who are customers, okay? These are people who will buy one or two of your things. Now, as I talk about, you cannot make long-term money if you just sell a thing. I love these guys who start a business and they say, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to sell a book on Amazon. I'm going to get rich. No, can't do that. You have to have a suite of products and services. So my Alpha 2.0 Black Dragon business, I have ebooks, I have printed books, I have audiobooks, I have coaching services, I have a membership program, I do seminars, I have online courses, I got a whole pile of stuff. I have an entire product funnel. Different topic for another time, especially if you've seen one of my online courses, okay? But people in this circle right here, they will buy a book from you. They'll buy one or two cheap items. They won't buy a lot. They don't want to buy a lot, but they want to buy, they're interested enough in your material and your material resonates enough with them that they will buy something. They won't buy a lot, okay, but they are technically customers, okay? The final circle in here are clients. That's how I view them. They're clients, and I come from the consulting world, so I'm comfortable with that word. These are people who buy everything you sell that they have the budget for. Your material resonates with them so much and so well, and you have developed enough trust through your free content and your paid content over a long enough period of time where they trust you. So that's the two aspects you need. Your material resonates with what they want, and they trust you. Those two things come together, and they buy more or less anything you put out that they can afford. Okay, these are your core customers. Okay, so my objective in my business, at least in this business, I have 2 other companies with different objectives, but in this business, my objective really is to make these people into these people, to take my customers and transfer them into clients, to monetize my existing base. Does that make sense? I don't really care about these people. I barely care about these people. And you could argue, well, Caleb, you should try to get these people into here. You should try to get every concentric circle into the next circle. I don't have that kind of time. No thanks. Plus, my deal is, this is my deal now with Alpha Male 2.0. I only want men who are really interested in Alpha Male 2.0. I am not here to try to convince hardcore beta males or hardcore alpha male 1.0s to want to be alpha male 2.0s, because I could give them all the information and they won't do anything with it. So I'm not interested in having those customers, okay? I'm actually very choosy about the customers in this particular business. So I don't really give a shit. I mean, I appreciate these people to a degree, it's fine, but I don't really care. These people I care about, the customers. And I want to get more customers into this zone. I want to convince the customers, my existing customers, that I have more material that can help them. Make sense? And how do I do that? I do that by providing value and by creating trust. Those 2 things. Make sense? So that's just kind of how I view it. Feel free to do whatever you want with this information, but that's how I view my audience, and I think that might be helpful to you.